The United Kingdom is grappling with the catastrophic aftermath of Storm Gertie, the most powerful extratropical cyclone to strike the British Isles in over a decade. Sweeping across the Atlantic and making landfall on the evening of January 7, 2026, the storm has left a trail of destruction from the tip of Cornwall to the Highlands of Scotland. As of January 10, 2026, the Met Office has maintained several danger-to-life warnings, while emergency services work tirelessly to restore power to hundreds of thousands of homes and rescue residents trapped by historic flooding. Storm Gertie underwent explosive cyclogenesis, often referred to as a weather bomb, as it crossed the North Atlantic. Atmospheric pressure at the storm's center dropped to a staggering 942 hectopascals, leading to extreme wind gradients. The highest wind speed was recorded at the Needles, Isle of Wight, where gusts reached an extraordinary 124 miles per hour. Inland areas, including Manchester and Birmingham, saw gusts exceeding 85 miles per hour. Parts of Cumbria and North Wales received a month's worth of rain, approximately 150 millimeters, in less than 18 hours, causing immediate flash flooding. The UK's transport network has suffered a near-total collapse in several regions. National Rail suspended services across the north of England and Scotland after more than 200 trees were reported to have fallen across tracks, and overhead power lines were brought down. Major arteries, including the M6 and M1 motorways, were closed for several hours due to overturned high-sided vehicles and debris. At London Heathrow and Gatwick airports, over 400 flights were cancelled, leaving thousands of international travelers stranded as ground crews struggled against wind speeds that exceeded safety limits for baggage handling and refueling. The Energy Networks Association confirmed that at its peak, Storm Gertie knocked out power to over 850,000 properties. While engineers have restored electricity to many, roughly 120,000 homes in rural Scotland and the southwest remain in the dark as of Saturday evening. The damage to cellular towers has also caused significant communication outages, hindering the ability of residents in remote areas to contact emergency services. Prime Minister Keir Starmer convened a Cobra Emergency Committee meeting today to coordinate the national recovery effort. The government has activated the Bell Wind Scheme, providing emergency financial assistance to local authorities to cover the costs of the cleanup. The scale of Storm Gertie is unlike anything we have seen in recent years, the Prime Minister stated. Our priority is ensuring the safety of our citizens and restoring vital infrastructure as quickly as possible. The Environment Agency continues to monitor river levels, with over 150 flood warnings still in place. Residents are urged to check the UK Flood Warning Service for real-time updates before attempting to travel. Climate scientists at the University of Reading have noted that while individual storms are difficult to attribute solely to climate change, the intensity of Storm Gertie aligns with models predicting more frequent and severe weather events due to a warming Atlantic. The increased moisture-holding capacity of the atmosphere has directly contributed to the record rainfall totals seen this week. Meanwhile, France is recovering from the severe impact of Storm Goretti, the first named storm of 2026, which swept across northern Europe earlier this week. Making landfall on January 8th, the storm brought a combination of extreme winds, heavy snowfall, and icy conditions, causing widespread disruption, particularly in the northwest regions of Normandy and Brittany. As of January 10th, 2026, while the worst of the storm has passed, authorities continue to manage the aftermath, with hundreds of thousands of homes still without power and travel networks slowly resuming operations. Storm Geredi was classified as a weather bomb, explosive cyclogenesis, as its central pressure rapidly intensified over the Atlantic. Meteo France issued orange vigilance level warnings across multiple departments for high winds, snow, and ice. Record-breaking wind speeds were recorded, notably a peak gust of 213 kilometers per hour, 132 miles per hour, in Barfla and Gataville-le-Fair in the northwestern Manche region. Gusts of 148 kilometers per hour were also registered in Brest, Brittany, and even at the top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. A band of heavy snow and freezing rain blanketed large parts of northwest France, including Paris and the Île-de-France region, leading to dangerous icy conditions. The storm caused major disruption to the French power network. Enedis, the national power provider, reported that at the storm's peak, approximately 380,000 households lost electricity, primarily in the Normandy and Brittany regions. Utility workers are working to restore service, but thousands remain affected. The French state energy company EDF noted that the storm required 2 reactors at the Flamanville power station to be taken offline after a high-voltage line was disrupted. While no widespread major property damage was reported, the storm did lead to injuries. At least 5 weather-related deaths were reported across the region, according to early reports. In one instance, a man was seriously hurt after falling from his roof, while attempting to replace tiles damaged by the wind. The French National Weather Service had urged residents to remain home during the height of the storm. French authorities, including Météo France and the Environment Agency, continue to coordinate recovery efforts and monitor potential flooding in coastal areas. The adverse conditions, including strong winds and low temperatures, are expected to persist in some areas, complicating the cleanup and power restoration processes. Residents seeking the latest information on travel and weather warnings are advised to consult official government and transport websites. Meanwhile, the city of Birmingham and the wider West Midlands region are currently under a blanket of white as a historic Arctic plunge brought the heaviest snowfall seen in the area for over 2 decades. Starting late in the evening of January 8, 2026, and continuing through the morning of January 10th, the snowfall has effectively brought the UK's second city to a standstill. With accumulation levels reaching up to 30 centimeters, 12 inches, in suburban areas like Solihull, Sutton Coldfield, and the Lickey Hills, local authorities have declared a major incident, focusing all resources on life safety operations and essential infrastructure. Meteorologists at the Met Office have attributed this extreme event to a rare meteorological phenomenon where a high-pressure system over Scandinavia funneled freezing air from Siberia directly across the North Sea. As this frigid air mass hit the relatively warmer moisture of the English Midlands, it triggered lake-effect-style snow bands that remained stationary over Birmingham for nearly 36 hours. By midnight on January 9th, the Met Office upgraded the weather warning for Birmingham from amber to a red weather warning, signifying a high risk to life and widespread structural damage. The busiest rail hub outside London, Birmingham New Street, saw almost all services cancelled on Friday. Points failures due to freezing temperatures and heavy snow buildup on overhead lines stranded hundreds of commuters. National Rail has advised passengers not to travel until at least Monday. The runway was closed for 24 hours as ground crews struggled to keep pace with the 5 cm per hour snowfall. Over 200 flights were diverted or cancelled, with the airport terminal being used as a temporary shelter for stranded international passengers. The iconic Spaghetti Junction, M6 Junction 6, became a graveyard of abandoned vehicles on Friday night. West Midlands police reported over 450 road traffic accidents within a 12-hour window. The M6 motorway experienced 20-mile tailbacks after several HGVs, heavy goods vehicles, jackknifed near Great Bar. Birmingham City Council announced the closure of over 400 schools across the city and surrounding boroughs. "The safety of our children and staff is paramount," said the leader of the council. "With many side roads remaining ungridded and impassable, we cannot expect families to make the journey." Public libraries, leisure centers, and non-essential municipal offices also remain closed. Waste collection services have been suspended for the duration of the week, with a significant backlog expected. University Hospitals Birmingham NHS Foundation Trust has moved to its highest alert level. Queen Elizabeth Hospital reported a massive surge in slips, trips, and falls in the A&E department. Paramedics from the West Midlands Ambulance Service have faced extreme difficulty reaching patients in hilly areas. 4x4 volunteer groups have been activated to transport essential medical staff to hospitals, as many nurses and doctors found themselves unable to dig their cars out of residential streets. While the West Midlands electricity grid has remained largely stable, localized power cuts have affected approximately 15,000 homes in Harborne, Edgbaston, and Moseley due to snow-laden branches snapping power lines. National Grid engineers are working in sub-zero temperatures to restore connectivity, though deep drifts are slowing their progress. Despite the chaos, the Brummie spirit has shown through. In areas like Digbeth and the Jeweller Quarter, local cafes have opened their doors to provide hot soup and drinks to the homeless and those stranded. Social media has been flooded with snow heroes, neighbors using personal tractors or shovels to clear paths for elderly residents. The British Red Cross has deployed severe weather volunteers to deliver food parcels and blankets to vulnerable individuals who have been cut off by the drifts. Local economists estimate that the 3-day shutdown of Birmingham's economy has cost the city roughly £85 million in lost productivity and retail revenue. The Bullring and Grand Central shopping complexes, usually bustling on weekends, saw footfall drop by 95% as residents heeded the stay-at-home advice.